Flosstube. Happy Monday. I don't usually record on Mondays, though this probably won't get uploaded till Tuesday. So today is Monday, June 21st. I just had to look. Now I'm thinking I looked wrong, but I think it's June 21st. It's summer vacation. All of the days run together. My name is Helen. Thank you for spending some time with me today, whatever day it is when you're watching. Like I said, today's Monday. I had time. I thought I better film now while I have time because who knows what the rest of the week is going to bring. And I do actually have some piles. I was gathering. Now I'm all sweaty because I was gathering. And I thought, ooh, I don't really have that much. Yet I had to pull over a second chair to put stuff on, so I must have something. Our school got done last Tuesday, the 15th was our last day. So we had half a week last week, and then this is our first full week. We don't really have a lot of plans this week. I mean, we have plans over the summer, but we have plenty of downtime. We have a family trip planned. We're driving to West Virginia to see my husband's grandmother. We were unable to go last year, so that was priority was, you know, if they're good with us coming and staying with them, we need to get down there. My son has a week of camp at it's a day camp at an ecology center. My mother-in-law's coming up for a visit and my sister-in-law, and tennis. We started tennis, it's been going well. We signed up for June and I have a feeling it will last through the summer and then we'll see. Once school gets back, it's twice a week, so once school gets back in session, that might just be too much, but it's great for the summer. And it's indoors, so we don't have to worry about weather or sunscreen. He hates sunscreen. He has my genes. You'd think he'd burn more, but he tans up. I don't. So that's about it. I have this week 2 fully finished things. One finished piece that I just finished this morning, and some whips that you're probably all tired of seeing by now. It felt like I've been doing nothing but my sales this month. 2 of them will wrap up in July, and the 3rd is a yearly. So I feel like I've been spending a lot of time on sales because I'm trying to keep up. Although I needed a break, which is why I started the new piece, and it ended up being small, so I finished it. So we will start in. First FFO, fully finished. I finished the meow block. Ooh. I've got my light here. It's weird. I have to pull the shades because then it gets too, I don't know. It's a hot mess with lights. So hopefully this isn't completely blown out because I finished it. So it's one long piece that wraps around. This is where they come together. There's a top panel. And then the bottom is just blank, except you do an outline of backstitch, but I put my initials and the date and 2 little cat paws. So this I stitched on 16 count beige. It was the only kind of color I had in my stash that was long enough that the white showed up on really well. You kind of stitch along the back stitching to connect it. It took a while. You have to blanket stitch, I think, this top piece on. On Kathy's original, all of this is done in a light gray, but I didn't have a light gray that matched in DMC, and that's a lot of stitching. I didn't want to use fancy floss for it. I wanted to use DMC, so I just picked a blue. So this is done. I stuffed it with fiberfill, and I had some crushed walnuts. So I kind of did, I think you did the top first, so you stuffed it from the bottom, and I put in the fiberfill, and then I poured in some walnuts and put in some more fiberfill just to give it a little bit of heft. So it's done, and I had the pins. My friend Barbie Pedal Pusher had gotten me those for my birthday from Market in 2019, and I just finally used them. So this is all done. My sister is stitching hers, and then I don't know if she's gonna ask me to finish it or she might finish it herself. You kind of put it together like a biscornu, and she's done those, so I've never done those. And then the second fully finish is a new freebie chart for you guys. So I called this one Beaches and Bikinis. So it says, got light, beaches, bikinis, sandals, and sunscreen. So this is how I finished mine. It has 2 little flip-flops. I stitched mine on 14 count vellum. I had a scrap, and I kind of went with like an ombre. I pulled out my color card, my DMC color card, and I just went with an ombre shades. And then the sandals, I stitched in Classic Colorworks Sugared Violets. That's actually all one floss, but I kind of fussy cut it so that the lighter strands I did 2 rows, and then I did 1 row with the darker strand. And then the little top bit, what would that be, the strap? I used beads. I had some leftover beads. They're in this bag. They were Mill Hills, leftover from one of my reindeers. Magnifica glass beads 1001 were the ones that I used. They were like a clear. And I did put that on the chart. And then also, when I made this cording, I wanted it to match, but again, I didn't want to use my fancy floss. I thought I threw those in here. Here they are. 3041 and 3042 were the exact same. So if you wanted to do that stripe effect without having to worry about your floss, and you want to use my colors, I can't wait to see what people come up with. These are the 2 colors I would recommend, and I also put that on. I probably would have done it that way, but I was at tennis, and that's the floss I had in my bag, so I went with it. I finished this as a pillow. I put a piece of Lady Dot twill tape, and then I made a square knot, kind of tacked it in place, and actually sewed it in. I didn't wrap this one around, I sewed it in. So it's on there. I've had this fish fabric forever, and I was so glad to finally use it. I may do some kind of trim, but I didn't last night. Was it last night when I finished it? Hot flashes, people. Or it's just hot. I don't know. It's not nearly as hot as it was last week. It's like 76, but I bet the humidity's up today. And my neighbor was mowing, so I had shut the windows so that you wouldn't have to hear him. And now he's done. Let's see. Yeah, 78% humidity. That's the problem. So that's that. That one, I uploaded the PDF. I have a link tree, and I have a link tree just so I could put everything in one place, so that if you wanted to go and get that PDF, you'd go on there to print it out, and all the other ones would be there if you were interested in them, so that it's one-stop shopping. It's easy button, one-stop shopping. I've put the link there. You can print it out. It's already up, and I will put that in the description box. And I can't wait to see. You could do sandals striped. You could do thin stripes. You could do like one long stripe going this way. You could do polka dots. You could do absolutely anything you want. The beading, it's charted just with regular, I think I put it just in black, the straps. I just put 1 bead for every square, and it worked out pretty well. So there's that. FOs, finished objects. I'm out of sorts today. So I was working on all of my whips, and I needed a break. Like, I'm kind of tired of these same 3 projects. I want to do something different. So I pulled out, got so many bags I didn't even know where it was. I'd had this one kitted up. This is called Naughty or Nice by Erica Michaels. So it's still in its plastic, obviously. It's this one piece and then 2 berries. So I had it pulled out with the floss, Now here goes the motorcycle. And I had cut a piece of fabric, and then when I was looking at it, I want to start with one of these berries. That's over 1. And there's some over 1 in both of them. And I really looked at it and I'm like, ugh. I can't do that much over 1 on Aida. It just would look terrible. I probably could make it backstitch, but I really, really like them, and I like them as is. So I couldn't find, it's called for Picture This Plus Fog, which is one of my favorites. I'm just branching out into the world of even weave. I'm an Aida stitcher. What I've learned about myself is over-dyed even weave. Over-dyed fabrics in general, the holes shrink. They tighten up when they dye. That's part of the process. So I have a really hard time stitching on an over-dyed, I'm gonna sneeze, an over-dyed even weave. I've been stitching on like some 25 count, and that's been fine. I've bought a little 28 count. I like 25 count, except your stuff is huge, and I don't want this giant berry, so I wanted it smaller. I couldn't find a 28 count in like a cream, so I bought a 32 and thought, well, if it comes in and I'm like, there's absolutely no way I can see that, I'll just pass it on. I tried it, and I did it. So I stitched this on 32 count cream, regular plain old Zweigart Lugana. And I finished it this morning. So there it is. So the naughty or is over 1. And then the rest of it is 2 over 2. So I cut my even weave, I measured, I'm like, all right, I would love to get, I bought a 13 by 18. I'm like, I'd love to get 4 out of this, but when it says how much it calls for, I'm like, I don't think I can. So it's on this giant piece. Once I cut it out, and when you do a berry, you do need some extra for the finishing. So before I start the second one, I want to cut this out so that then I can lay that cut out piece on my fabric to see, could I have folded it in half this way and done it? I don't know. But I really enjoyed it, and I want to do the second one for this Christmas. So that one's done. That was my finish. Start and finish, I guess. I started that over the weekend. I needed a break. So now I have to get back to my sales. I have 3 sales going. You've seen them. If you've been around my videos, you've seen them because I've been working on some of them for a while. This is the longest one. This is the Pixels That Made Us Sal from Pick Stitch. We are just starting the final letter today. So this will spell the word gamer. So this is the Nintendo Entertainment System. This was Game Boy. M was arcade. E is Sega Genesis. And then Yoshi up here. That will be Super Nintendo. So since you've seen this in the last couple weeks, I finished the E. Chester Cheetah from Cheetos is on there. I love that some of these random characters had video games and they're on here. So I finished the E. It was these 2 middle sections, and then Yoshi up here will be the first part of the R. The first part of the R is kind of the top. So I just started that today. So 4 more weeks, because each letter, Justin from Pick Stitch broke each letter down into 4 weeks. I always put a link down below to their Facebook group if you want more information about how to sign up. It's a charity sale for the charity Child's Play. So this one I'm stitching on 16 count Alchemy from Picture This Plus. I can stitch on all the hand-dyed Aida, no problem. Well, I didn't even have a bag for that because it's in progress. The other one that I don't have a bag for that's in progress is the Tiny Modernist Zodiac Sal. So this is Cancer. It's a giant crab. He's got 2 giant claws on the top and his little eye stems and just a smidge of backstitch. So this one I'm using all the called for DMC. The fabric is a solo dye from Misty at Luminous Fiber Arts, and it's an 18. So working on that one, just trying to get it done before the next one comes out, beginning of July. And then the other Sal is The Wizard of Oz by Satsuma Street. This one, part 3, came out 2 weekends ago? I don't know, since I've seen you. Part 3 came out. Part 1 was the border. It's a diamond. So part 1 was the border. Part 2 was up here, which is the Witch of the North from the book. And some munchkins with a ton of backstitch. And then this right here with the poppies was the last section, part 3. Yeah, this one needs an iron, you guys. I'm sorry. So then I did that in this rainbow, and I got the box done on the bottom for the next part, which comes out this week. I was glad this one had backstitch, but not as much, so it went a little quicker. Which is funny because Satsuma patterns usually don't have backstitch, so I wasn't expecting it. I don't mind backstitch. It was unexpected. Unexpected backstitch. So those are my whips, what I've been working on. That's all of them. I got a couple things out of order. I brought down, so I've been trying to do finishing some whips to cut down, you know, what's closest. Last time I had a bunch of finishes because it was like, what's closest to a finish? That's what I'm going to work on this week, which worked great. Except now nothing's closest to a finish. So now I have whips that need more than like a few days to a week of work. So what does one do when you finish and cross 3 whips off your list? You kit up 5 more projects. I brought them down. So if this one feels like it's going short, which it might be, I'm whipping through things, I might show you guys what I have left. And then someone had also asked if I would show like the Patriotic stuff. So I will probably shoot a separate clip to put at the end of this area. And then I have 2 built-in bookcases on the other sides. So gifts, I had a few things come in the mail. One of them actually was here for the last video, but it got put away in a weird spot and I forgot to grab it. So Amanda from Alba Stitcher had messaged me and said that she's been going through her fabrics and she had a couple pieces of Ada that she knew she wasn't going to use. She'd love to pass them on. So she sent them over. They're both from Pole Stitches, which is a UK company, I believe. They're in their bags. They're both like, I'll have to come up with something fun for these because they're both kind of tie-dye-y. Like they're really cool, but I'm not gonna put a sampler on here. I don't really stitch samplers anyway. So those were both really cool. So I have those to play with. And then Gloria reached out. She had won a giveaway a long time ago and she said, she went to the thrift store. She said, you inspired me to go to the thrift store because you're always finding cool stuff. So she went in, she said, I found some stuff and I'd love to send you some. So she sent me a huge box full of trims, laces, some cording, all this cool stuff. She said it looked like a craft store had gone out of business and a lot of it had ended up there. I'm gonna sneeze again. I didn't bring it all down because there was a lot. So I brought down my 2 favorites. Excuse me, which coordinate. I didn't even realize. So the first one is this like vintage, I love it, gingham, purple gingham with like the old school like 3-dot lace. I know growing up I had some clothes probably that my mom made trimmed with this. So I love that one. And then the other one totally matches. And this was on like the official thing from the store. Purple, teeny tiny purple gingham like balls that you could sew, like you sew right in. So those are super fun. There was a bunch of trims in there that I can play with. So thank you, Gloria, for those. And then I went to my mom's this weekend and my sister was there with her family. And Donna had picked up a skein of floss in there for me. She had picked up a couple fabrics she thought might be good for finishing. Like a green and a nice brown. I almost used this one on the beach. And an adorable needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique that says, "Be happy." Little summer gnomes. So I gotta put those away. So that's kind of what has come in. Purchases, I only have one thing, and it's buried. So I don't typically buy project bags because I make my own. And if I have too many project bags, I have too many projects. So that never works. But on Instagram, I had seen one of the people I follow had shared a picture of this bag that she got. And I was dying. It was so cute. So I went to the website. It's Quilting with Nico, and I'll put that below. And she had one left, just like the one I saw, and one that had the prints in an opposite way. And I'm like, I'm splurging. And this is like the most well-made bag I've ever owned. It's way better than what I make. So here's the back. It's big. It will fit, it's like 14 by 14, which is what the size I like. So it has all, I'm like, this is my main summer bag. It has all these grumpy old men on it. All these fishermen. I love these two sharing. And then the front. And I posted this on Instagram. You may have already seen it. Here's my men. Look at these seagulls. They've got little boots and their little fisherman hats. And that one's eating some fries. Like, I love it. I love it. And it's quilted. It's so nice. And then you can have the option of having a needle minder. And mine's the little fisherman. So I love that. She's got some really cool fabrics. And I don't do these vinyl bags because they're difficult. They're difficult for me. So we will do giveaways and then I'll show you guys what I kitted up. I don't have any idea how long this went because I didn't pay attention. We'll put it on. It won't be long. Mine are never long. So last video, we were giving away a copy of Anna Forrest Grew. This came right from Rosewood Manor. And I showed you how Karen Kluba suggested like you could break it down to kind of make your own version of that woodland Christmas chart that I'm stitching. There's like 240 something that wanted this one, which might be like the most popular one I've ever done. And I did the random comment and it goes to Julie W, which now I feel like we're playing bingo. Julie W. I will put a comment on your comments so that you can give me your address and I'll get this out to you. I might use it as a fan until then. So then this week I have 2 more charts from Carla at Cobweb Corner. Carla had been on vacation doing some much needed family stuff, so we got a little off, but we hooked back up. We've got some more stuff. She actually sent 2 videos worth, so we're good to go. GPS, but nothing good for me. So for this video, we have 2 charts. I kind of went summery themed. I chose ink circles, arranging seashells. So if you'd like to be entered in this one, use the word shell. Just shell, we'll go with that. And then Plum Street's Cape Cod Keeps. I love these. And if you'd like this one, say mermaid. Please be 18. I'd appreciate if you're a subscriber. Don't use the word giveaway. Standard stuff. So shell and mermaid for those. And then Carla sends a couple charts for me. She sent me a couple extras. She sent me some goodies this time. They're still in the bag. A samplings of memories, little floss bling, and the cutest needle minder I've been waiting to use. It says, I just want to stitch and watch Flosstube. So she carries these on her website as well. They were stuck together. And then I had her send for me two that kind of go along with what I'm doing. So this is the Alice in Wonderland Satsuma and Siren Cove. This is a companion piece to Turkey Bay. It's got a lot more stitching in it though. So I actually got a copy of Turkey Bay, but we'll do that the next one for you guys. So I can add those to my need to be stitched. And then a quick reminder, so thank you Carla, as always. Quick reminder that Penny at the Daily Stitcher is also still running her giveaway for anyone who makes a purchase of any kind between now and July 3rd. You can win one of her Bitzy Keeps and 2 charts of your choice. She's gonna pull that on July 4th. That's it. You guys wanna see what I kitted up? I kitted up 5 things. They're in random order. They're in no specific order. Oh, this first one I should have started ages ago because it's a borrowed chart. This is a borrowed out of print chart. I hope they re-release it. Winter Wonderland from Blackbird. So I've pulled flosses. I think I pulled a gray. Actually, I think this is Snow Day. Ooh, you're not gonna see it in that light. I think this is Misty's Snow Day in 18 count to work on that. I pulled mostly called for, and then I subbed a couple I didn't have. So that's one I'd like to get to this year. Next up, we'll see if I even get to, this might be the only time you guys see these. Acorns from the Blue Flower. I love this chart. She released this last year. This calls for Highland from Picture This Plus, which I was able to get a piece of on 14 count. So it's like a yellowy with some green. I'm using called for on this one, except the St. Bernard, which is the words. The skein that I had was not that color at all, so I pulled Tartan Plaid to use for that. So that one. I finished Meow Block, so now I need more block parties in my life. So I have kitted up 31st, which is one of her new ones. I think I pulled a 14 count for this one. Like just a chalk, solid chalk. This one was already unzipped and I just zipped it. This one I love. You know what, we're gonna do that one last. Actually no, these two both have the same problem. These are 2 Plum Street charts. I love Plum Street charts. They have random over 1, and if you're an Ada Stitcher, it's difficult. So I've had this. I love this. All their little faces are over 1 to get that detail. So this is what I bought the 28 count for to try. And I'm tempted to not do this house. There's no easy way of cutting that house off. I'm tempted to do that. And maybe put like another little branch up here. But we'll see when I get to it. I have enough fabric that if I want to do the house, but I thought on 28 count that it's gonna be big. That's the problem. If I make it on a fabric that's big enough that I can see it, then the piece is gonna be big. And this last one is a Plum Street and it has the same problem. The same issue, it's not a problem. Unless you're an Ada Stitcher. So this is Abominable Bundle, also in its shiny plastic. And their little faces are over 1. So there it is. So yeah, all 3 of their little faces. So I pulled a 28. I have two choices on this one. I pulled wheat and Springfield sage. So we'll see when I get to it, I feel like. So that's those. We'll see if any of them actually get started. Some of them will. I still would like to finish up some of my whips before I start new things. Plans, finish, it'll be Sal's. Sal's all month. Sal's through July. Gamer finishes in July. Wizard of Oz finishes in July. Zodiac is monthly, so once I have the other ones done, that one won't be as daunting. And then I just work on something in between for a couple days, however much time I have. And I do need to figure out a new car project because I was working on beaches and bikinis in the car, and that one is done. And the upstairs room where the tennis is not well lit. So I have to keep that in mind. I'm not giving up an hour of stitching time. I just need to stitch something I can see. So, hope you guys are having a good end of June. I'll be back when I can be. Hopefully beginning of July. We'll see. I will do a quick little video of these two displays and kind of tell you what's in them. There's probably some pollen in them, just to warn you, and cat hair. Pollen and cat hair. All right, thank you guys. Bye. I have my 4th of July stitching and Patriotic stitching up on this little buffet behind me and on one of the shelves on the other side of the room. Someone had asked about this little truck. That came from Kohl's a couple of years ago. He just has little watermelons. This is an older Lizzie Kate chart. In this basket, that is Red, White, and Moo from Hands On Design and Priscilla. The middle one is a heart and hand piece. I don't remember the name, but it's one of her minis, Merry Making Minis. It's probably Merry Making Minis Land of the Free. And then that is Liberty from one of the chalk, the jars by Kathy and Priscilla. This is O is for Old Glory. That's Heartstring Samplery. This is part of a chart by With Thy Needle and Thread. I remember cutting it down, but now I don't remember what I took out. So that's part of that. And then in my frame, this is called Long May She Wave. And this is Stitching with the Housewives. That truck took 1,000 years. This is the rest of the Patriotic. This bowl has another of those heart and hand Merry Making Minis. My guess would be Home of the Brave. There's my little Stars and Stripes chart. This little tin I got from Michael's last year. I don't know if they still have them. They were in like the spring stuff. That is Misty's. I don't think it's just called Patriotic Bird. I think it has a better, fancier name than that. And then that is a Heart and Hand, Land That I Love. That's one of those little circle charts, obviously. And then down here is Stars and Stripes Forever by Bent Creek. And then this shelf over here, I have the last of kind of my spring stuff and bee stuff. I'll put summer stuff up in a couple weeks. This is a Prairie Schooler from the Prairie Seasons. There's one for every season. This is spring. I did change the colors. Over here, tucked in this colander. I found this at Target a couple years ago in the dollar spot. That's a little frosted pumpkin. I think it's called the Beekeeper. So that one's in there. It's on a pick. It's on a skewer, and I just stick it in there. Down here's my bee bowl with my little bees. I need to get something better to like pop them up. Humble Honey, Hands On Design. That bee in the middle is Heart and Hand. It's another one of her pocket rounds, but I just did it square. And then this is an older Bent Creek called Buzz. And that's it. That is all of them. Enjoy.